and I also have an understanding of their costs. And I'm looking for a way to balance it so it's fair for everyone. And you start looking for more money, other resources. Sooner or later, we're not going to have enough. So let's start the discussion here and now. We need to find resources. And if you have ideas, I would love to hear them. If any of you have ideas, I would love to hear them. I am more than happy to make the effort to reach out and look for additional funding opportunities.
Okay, sure.
Let me know.
I have ideas.
I'd love to talk to you. Give me a call. We'll sit down.
No, I'll tell you now so it's public record. You can invest in some technology that can help with special needs. Maybe an output of money, but it could help down the line, like the driving voice text. Or you can add the collaborative teaching model, which would also help. So these would reduce the pullouts and increase independence.
Okay, have you spoken with Dr. Lee about this? Are you in contact with Dr. Lee about these wonderful ideas? Are you communicating?
I'm merely here to raise questions about what you all have said are your goals. It was my understanding that you said, and Mr. Button said, that your goal was to reduce the special ed budget.
Okay, you were right. And let's say it again. You were
Okay, and you corrected me, and you said, no, you were trying to get more money from the state. So I'm asking you how you go about doing that when Christie has taken money away.
I'm saying we have to look for more funding, resources, and opportunities, and the state is an obvious place to start. It's not necessarily the end.
I don't think it's very realistic at this point.
Well, you know, if you don't start, you get nothing done, right?
I'd also like to ask another question of the board. I'm reading over the code of ethics for the board members, and I'm just wondering, is it possible for one of the public to file a charge against a single board member with the ethics commission?
I believe that is, and quote me on it, I haven't worked this out in the law, but
Thank you.
I don't know the answer to that.
I think that it happened in Washington Township, so that it didn't work.
Was that public
Bob is
information?
nodding yes, so
That's public information?
yes. Yes.
Hi, Mike Bullis, teacher here at Mendham. I originally wasn't going to say anything, but the question came up about redoing an area around the baseball field in terms of some of the drainage situation. You do know that the Project Adventure course that was up behind the tennis courts now has been moved down into that baseball field area. And any grounds changes or any drainage type of things would have to look into what we have down there already. And I just want to make sure that people were aware of that before they started digging or appropriating any type of financial or building.
I think if anything goes forward with this, it has to be looked at by everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Mike, you're aware that when the turf field was proposed, one of the stipulations we put in is that any pieces of Project Adventure that were eliminated had to be reestablished. And that did happen.
It did.
And it
Very
will
nice.
certainly be one of the guiding principles of this.
Okay. Thank you.
David?
Kristen, can I just say a couple of words? There's been a little bit of a discussion about special education. So as the Director of Special Services, I just want to clarify a couple of things. One, up until a few years ago, the state funding formula tiered students by eligibility category. And there were some intensive services that would qualify a student to be Tier 4 as opposed to Tier 3 or Tier 2. And depending on the tier, your state funding was dictated by that. So there was a differential. But they froze state funding several years ago. And so the tier almost didn't matter. You weren't getting more or less, and Doug, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But that was dollars coming from the state. We're all aware of what took place last year where a lot of state funding was cut. Federally, since the inception of the law in the middle 1970s, 75, the Education for All Handicap Act, the federal government wanted to fund up to 40% of the local cost to any municipality. They've never exceeded 17%. The amount of money we get from them is from an entitlement grant, the IDEA, which we get annually. They've never given us more than 17%. They know that they have not supported the funding in the way that they wanted to do from the outset. So absolutely more responsibility, more onus to support the needs has been at the local level, as opposed to what was thought federally when the law was passed. The Stimulus Act, the ARA funds that every district got, American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, there was funding for special education, which this district and every other district received. The purpose of that stimulus money was to get us to the 40% rate for at least 1 year. So it really doubled our IDEA. With that, we purchased a lot of assistive technology, $100,000 worth. We have collaborative partners in each building that well exceeds the average in terms of a high school so that we can include students. The fact is we include students in general education at about 78%. 78% to 80% of our students are included in general ed at least 80% of their day. The state target is 42%. We almost double it. So we're including a lot of students. The fact is we don't send students out of district at a level that exceeds the state target. We